Hello, and welcome to SCI 1050. My name is Laura Brieser-Smith, and I'll be your instructor for the course. What I'd like to do today is to give you a brief overview of the course, as well as a little introduction to our ULearn site. So, let's get started.
Welcome to the SCI 1050 tour of the course. Obviously, you have already opened up this course, and when you did, the first thing that you would have been brought to were the announcements. And right now, the things that I have up here for announcements, you can see you have a quick reminder of how to get started, which you probably have already read. And then the other thing that is currently showing is just a little welcome message from me, with a little bio about kind of a little bit more of what I do besides just teach at Johnson & Wales, and then also a little bit about me personally. So take a look at that at your leisure. The other thing that you're going to find here in the announcements section is every week I will be posting different reminders for you. So I'll typically put in there things like what reminders of assignments that are going to be due, also any changes that might occur or things that I need to make you aware of that might be different than the syllabus. So be sure and check out the announcements on a regular basis. So let's come over here, and under announcements, the next thing on our toolbar here is going to be the syllabus and course information. So let's click on that. And this is where you will, of course, find your syllabus. And the syllabus is a very important document because it has all of the policies and procedures, my contact information, course objectives. So that's something you'll want to keep close. The other thing here is also going to be a course schedule. And of course, to get to any of these documents, all you have to do is click on the document and it will open right up. The course schedule is going to be important because it is going to be your schedule of when things are due. So it will list specific readings that you'll need to be doing each week, assignments, quizzes, etc. I would highly recommend printing this out or saving it somewhere where you can refer back to it pretty frequently. If we continue on, we next have assignments. So let's click there. And all the assignments for the course are going to be listed here, and I don't have them listed by week in this section, but they are going to have specific due dates, so you'll be able to see when each one of them is due. In addition to being here in the assignment section, you'll also find that each assignment is going to be listed in the week in which it is corresponding. So there are those two places that you'll be able to find your assignments. Let's look next at discussions. And this is going to be your discussion board. So again, all of the discussions are going to be listed here. Just like we talked about with assignments, you'll also see that they will be in each week. So don't feel overwhelmed by this page that all the discussions are there. But what you will notice, the very first one here, the Let's Share, that's not really a discussion per se, but it's a place that you can ask questions, not necessarily about course mechanics, but about nutrition, fitness, health. So any questions you have, post those and I'll be happy to answer those. Also share interesting information that you find. So everyone is welcome to use this particular area to post those things that you find that are relevant to nutrition and fitness and topics that we might be discussing. The very first real discussion that we're going to have is here in the Introduce Yourself discussion. So this is where we're all going to get to know each other. So post things, your name, where you live, your major, anything that might be interesting that you'd like to share, and then any specific questions that you would like to have answered by the end of the term. So be sure that with all of these discussions that remember we're going to have two due dates. So our first due date is going to be on Thursday. That's when your initial post must be in order to receive full credit. And then you're going to have follow-up posts that will be to your individual classmates. And you need to have at least two of those before the week closes on Sunday. Now, if you're not quite sure how to do this, I have here, if you click on this link that I have, this takes you to the help area where it will give you some ideas on how to post to a discussion board. And if you are in any doubt whatsoever, please do that. Now, even though all of these discussions are listed here, you'll notice if we go down here to the week 2 discussion that you can see it, but it's not actually available. So you won't be able to post to it until week 2 actually occurs. So kind of keep that in mind. All right, let's go back here. So next we have quizzes. And right now you just see 2 quizzes showing. We will have a quiz each week, so as the weeks come up, you'll see the quizzes will come up as well. The material for your quizzes come directly from your textbook. So again, just like we talked about for assignments and discussions, you're going to be able to access your quizzes in each week's content area as well. All right, next up we have the professor's blog. So Professor's blog is not an area that you're required to visit, but it's where I'm going to post my thoughts, anecdotes, fun little things that I know and encounter with nutrition. And so these are the kinds of things that if we were seated in a classroom and I was lecturing to you face to face, that I might be kind of throwing into lecture. But since we don't have that, this is a good place for me to share that with you. So that's Professor's blog. Check it out from time to time. We already looked at Let's Share. This also takes you back to that same discussion area that we looked at previously. So those are just some kind of general things that you might look at. Let's now move into our folders for each week. So each week will have its content area. Right now we just have week 1 and week 2 that are showing. What you'll find is that I will post the next week. I will post like a week in advance is basically what will happen. So right now you can see we're in week 1. We will be seeing week 2. That's our week ahead. At the end of week 1, I will be posting week 3 so that you'll be able to have a look at things in advance if that helps you to kind of stay on track with what we're doing. So let's come to week 1. And for the most part, all of our weeks are going to be organized in the same way. So the first thing that you're going to notice when you click on your week is that it's going to give you what it's all about. This week is a little different. I don't have objectives listed. Most weeks will have objectives about what you're going to learn, but they all have a to-do list. So look through this. Again, this is just kind of a reiteration of what's already on your course schedule, but just a nice reminder of what you're going to be covering and doing each week. So to enter the week, we're going to click on the week 1 overview. This week's a little bit different because we have a lot to do this week. We have introduction to the course items. So here, the tour of the course that you already found, this is a great place for the introduction, course information. That's going to take us back to the syllabus and the schedule and my introduction. So you probably already have checked this out just a little bit. So let's go back. And let's take a look at the week 1 content folder. So here we're going to have chapter 1, and this is, if we click on that, chapter 1 overview is going to be a quick recorded introduction. So I've gone through and kind of given you just a basic overview of what's going to happen in the chapter, just some things to kind of think about, maybe some questions to get you started thinking. And then I'm also going to give you a handout that is a PDF of PowerPoint slides that gives you a place that you can actually take notes. It might be helpful as you're reading the textbook each week to use this as a way to kind of organize and take some notes. So that's our chapter 1. We're also going to have additional resources. And additional resources, this week we actually have a video on looking at the scientific discovery. So that's supplemental information above and beyond what's in your textbook. Again, our discussion, so there's our week 1 discussion. So to get to that, all we have to do is click on the title, and that takes us back to our discussion forum, where when we're ready to do that, all we have to do is click Create a Thread, and that will bring us into the place that we'll actually be able to respond. Now, one thing I would recommend, and it's totally up to you, but I would recommend typing out your discussion in a Word or other word processing program first, because this allows you to really craft your response. And keep in mind that I'm grading you on several different things. So, one is obviously the content of your discussion post, but I'm also going to be grading on spelling, grammar. So make sure that you spell check and proofread before you post, because otherwise, if you don't, you won't get the grade that you probably deserve. So kind of keep that in mind, that that is part of your grade. All right, so let's go back here. We'll go back a couple of degrees here. All right, well, let's just go back to week 1. That's probably the easiest way to get back to where we need to go. All right, so we looked at the discussion. This is your assignment. So your first assignment is the scientific discovery assignment. This is actually the assignment itself, so it's a Word document. You'll click on that, open it, probably download it. You're also going to have, for many of our assignments and discussions, kind of some supplemental information in addition to your textbook. So this lists up some pages in your textbook. You also are going to click on a couple of different articles that you will need to read as part of that assignment. Assignments are going to be due on Sunday of the week at 11:59 p.m. Keep in mind that this is Eastern time, so if you live someplace that is not Eastern time, keep in mind how many hours you need to add or subtract so that you are still staying on track with 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. Um, and we also have, in this particular week, another sort of assignment. It's not really a graded assignment, but it's something that you'll need to do in order to be able to complete your food analysis activity that we're going to be doing. Actually, it's a fairly big activity. So that's going to happen in week 2. So in order to do that, you need to write down everything that you eat for 3 days, preferably 2 weekdays and 1 weekend day. And then last but not least, here we have a quiz. So as I mentioned earlier, your quizzes are going to appear both in the quiz section and then also in each individual week. So when you're ready to take your quiz, go ahead and click on the quiz button, click begin, and you're going to take your quiz. So all of the information from quizzes is going to be found in your textbook. So make sure that you do take some good notes when you are ready to take your quiz. So that is what we are looking at in terms of our week-by-week basis. So I hope that this has been informative for you. This kind of concludes our tour, and have fun with your course.
Hello, and welcome to SCI 1050. My name is Laura Brieser-Smith, and I'll be your instructor for the course. What I'd like to do today is to give you a brief overview of the course, as well as a little introduction to our ULearn site. So,